Hi guys, good evening. My name is Penelope. I'm a freelance artist and digital illustrator, and I live right here in Troy. I grew up in the same area as well, went to Troy High School, lived pretty much all over the place around here. Tonight I'm going to be talking about how you guys can make a career out of being an artist. So just whatever you do at home, you can now go off in the world a little for everyone else. I know a lot of you have interest or are already in careers based around video game development. So if at any point I refer to art or being an artist, I am speaking directly to you guys because it is what you do. Art, video games are an art form, at least in my eyes. Everything around us in our day-to-day lives wouldn't exist without art. Everything starts from a sketch to an idea. But if you need me to change up my terminology, I don't mind. Just make things easier. Starting off, good thing, but probably this is my art. To begin a career as an artist in this day and age, you'll need to build a social media presence online by posting regularly at least 3 times a day. That way, with the new algorithm apps that Facebook and Instagram use, they created algorithms that make it harder for your post to be bumped up at the top unless you're doing a paid post. But posting 3 times a day makes it easier for your stuff to be able to be seen. And what I'm about to explain to you guys is also which times of the day make it easier for your post to be seen. The best social media apps to post with on these sites I found are Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. The art communities on these sites are huge and full of art lovers wanting to buy new and original things. Instagram can also simultaneously post to Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter by linking your accounts from Instagram and so on and so forth. But I would suggest not linking to Twitter because I recently found that linking your Twitter to Instagram will then post, but it'll post within that 280 character limit. So it will cut off your description of what you're trying to say, and then it won't give the image that you're posting from Instagram, it will give a link. So I just found out recently from a friend of mine that that's what my entire Twitter feed looked like because I haven't been on Twitter in, I don't know, since 2008. So I saw my Twitter feed and it was just all text, and I was like, that's not good. The 3 times a day that you posting will make your stuff be seen would be when you wake up and commute to work around 5 to 7 a.m. because everyone's just either using public transportation or they get into work and they're just waiting for stuff to start. Also 10 to 2 p.m. while people are normally on their breaks or taking lunch. And also depending on your target audience, if you're developing video games and your target audience is kids, you're gonna want to take note of the 2 to 3 p.m. time slot where kids are leaving school and glued to their phones finally because they've been sitting in their lockers all day, if they're good. But yeah, so that's another good time frame to keep in mind as well. Another one would be the 4 to 6 p.m. time slot because everyone's commuting home, they're getting home, they're at dinner, they're eating out, they're on their phones. And then also 7 to 8 p.m. when adults are just chilling after dinner on the couch looking at their phones. So keep in mind all these time slots because then it'll make it a heck of a lot easier than just posting random times of the day and then looking at your stats on whatever Twitter or Facebook and going, why is my stuff not being seen? It's because nobody's on their phone. Let's see. So obviously people are doing things throughout the day. They can't constantly be posting stuff on their phones. Thankfully there are scheduling apps. And my personal one that I like to use is Hootsuite because I'm just used to it. But there's a few others. There's Buffer, Hootsuite, Sprout Social, and a few more. But most of these apps have free subscriptions, or they're free, but limited availability until you pay them a service fee to do extra stuff. But they are really cool in the sense that you can Sunday, schedule all your posts online, or schedule all your posts, set them up to be those different time slots I mentioned earlier in the previous slide, and then go about your work week, and the posts will continuously upload throughout the week without you having to like sit there and scroll through Instagram or scroll through Twitter and be like, oh, I gotta post this right now. So you won't have to do that, which is really cool. And of course, Facebook's awesome because it already does that already. It has a little time scheduler thingy in it. So next thing, while you're doing these scheduled posts, you want to take advantage of hashtag days. So a few of them, the ones my favorite one I like to do is Fan Art Fridays because it gives me an excuse to post fan art and not be as annoying with tons of Dragon Ball Z fan art or tons of this fan art. I can be like, oh, it's Fan Art Friday, so I can post this thing. So here are a few of the ones that will get you a good amount of views and a lot of visibility. That if you wanted to write them down, there's a few of them. There are more. I left out Man Crush Monday and Woman Crush Wednesday, but I'm sure you guys are aware of those. But yeah, these ones, for some reason, I mean, because it took me a long time to really get the hang of using social media. I would just log into Facebook, creep on somebody, and then be done. But no, in order to have a good business model, I need to literally target these people, target these audiences with hashtags. So keeping in mind what these hashtags are will then help you get more views on whatever you're doing. Categories. Alright. You can also create your own hashtags. Let's see. By creating your own hashtags, you're encouraging your followers to use them. For example, you can start an art challenge. The one that I was really fond of last month was the draw this in your style, where like an artist would post like a picture of their own character, and then like 8 million other people would then respond under that hashtag with their versions of that character's art. It was pretty awesome, but it was overwhelming to the point where like I had saved on my phone like 20 plus screenshots of people's pictures I wanted to redraw, and then I was like, but I want to draw that one. Run out of time. But yeah, so to the point, most social media will suggest hashtags for you as you type them. So for example, on Twitter, at the bottom there, everybody's recording. Okay, so on Twitter, or not Twitter, yeah, Twitter does do it also, but these are from Instagram. The minute you start typing in hashtag artist, that's how many posts come up. So that's your competition to be seen in terms of visibility online. So if you want your post to be seen, you have that many posts to be seen with. So it's kind of like, it's a risk you'd be taking as far as it's a lot, or you can just go with like kind of a medium number, which is a little bit smaller art of Instagram, or you can be more general to the point. Like if you're drawing a female portrait, type in female portrait. Black and white art, put in black and white art. So it makes things a little bit easier. Okay, so when you're posting online to start your career as an artist, you want to post interesting pictures of your work, ones that you are most certainly proud of. These are pictures that I have posted within the past few weeks from my Instagram. On my Kickstarter, this was like a throwback Thursday from 2013, I might have drawn that. That was from the Bowsette meme that just went on Instagram. Kickstarter, throwback Thursday, ad from Etsy. So when you post pictures to social media, you want them to be really like capturing, because people, when you think in terms of you being on your phone, you're just scrolling through. You need something to make somebody stop and go, oh wow, okay. So that's generally the idea when you are posting stuff online. But one tip definitely that I would suggest is to incorporate in the image, because it's hard to see right here, but like incorporate your @username or hashtag username into the picture, because there are times when people will be like, oh, sweet, this picture looks really cool. And they'll screenshot it, repost it, retweet it, reblog it, but they'll not really credit the artist, which sucks. So what you want to do is put your name in the picture, because then if someone sees your picture and wants to see your site or see more of your work, they then have a way to get there. And it works as a watermark too. Another way that you could start getting your stuff out there would be to network at public events. We were talking about this right before the stream started. Types of events you can network at and meet others at are indoor festivals, conventions. I personally do anime conventions, I do MacFest, I do Genericon, Maxicon, and also local art gallery shows. There were a few over early on in the summer, late spring, early summer here in Troy that were really cool that I was able to network with a lot of people at, which really I was very fortunate for being able to do that. But yeah, no, take advantage of those sort of things. Like look online, see if through Facebook you can find Facebook events of art galleries or art showings or stuff like that. But I mean, in terms of being a game developer, you're going to probably want to look at more so the convention aspect and going to like things like GDC or going to E3 if you can. I've never been to that. But yeah, if you can go to like GDC or all those other things, that's a great place to network and be able to make connections. In-person networking is the best thing you can do. Create a relationship with your audience means you will gain repeat customers, but also take into account the cost of these events. For example, admission booth or cost of booth, travel, merchandise, yada yada. When you do these types of things, like breaking my sentence. So when you do these types of things, like the outdoor festivals and the conventions, you're more than likely going to have to pay fees to be able to exhibit a space there. So what you'll have to do is total up all your costs of your booth fees, how much it costs to travel there, how much food will you be paying for electricity to show like some awesome slide at your booth or to be able to display your games and stuff. So you take into account all those costs and that's your overhead. But what you really want to make sure is that your overhead isn't so much that if you're going to this place to make money or to make connections, you're not going to be making anything back. So just keep that in mind, because certain things might wind up, like especially if you have to then get a plane ticket down to California to go to something, you don't want to then be like, well now I have no money to get back. That would be bad. Don't spend more than you know you will make back. Some mistakes of the trade. This is stuff I have evidently come across in my time as an artist, and I just kind of want to pass that knowledge on to you guys. But I'm sure as artists, as game developers, as human beings, we've all kind of run into these situations. Don't ever undercharge your work. The problem with undercharging your work is you're getting paid pennies, literally. I in the past have gotten so excited to work for a company or to work for a client that I'm like, oh my God, this is the coolest opportunity ever. Here, just take everything. Like, take all my time, take all my resources, everything. I will draw whatever you need. But then I will begin to hate I will begin to hate my work. I will hate the job. I will hate art, and I will hate looking at the sky and everything. So I hate when I get like that. I hate that feeling in general. So don't undercharge your stuff. Don't undercharge your stuff at all, especially when you have a gift and you have a talent and you have the drive to be able to make something awesome when these other people are looking for someone like that. It's going to cost them something. B, don't work for exposure, refer to A. So, same thing. If they say they'll pay you an exposure, not necessarily going to pay the bills. Look at the next one. Look at pricing by known established artists. Known established artists or people that are in the industry, they have a fee. They are working for actual legit money. So with the experience that they have, they must be doing something right. So just take that into account, that you are as valuable as they are, and that it's just a matter of you being able to see that and believing in yourself. Sparkle sunshine rainbows. So that's pretty much, yeah, I'll talk about that. Yeah, I just said all that. Just, know that the time you put into your work and your skills and your knowledge is what they're paying for, and that these people who are hiring you for this job or hiring you for this task, like maybe being a texture artist or doing coding or something like that, like your skills are valuable. So don't ever just do something for exposure unless, I guess, you really want to. I think in terms of everyone has bills to pay, everyone has to take care of themselves. So just really look out for your well-being, look out for well-being of your families. You got it. So when you do make custom artwork and stuff like that, it takes the place of you doing other work for someone else. So just keep that in mind that your time is very valuable. And time management. Okay. Say to yourself, I'm home all day, but I'm still at work. With some sense of time management, you'll be able to gauge which tasks can be done first and last, as well as how much time you take doing them, allowing you to work on them more efficiently. First thing you would want to do is create a list. First off, I am terrible when it comes to time management. I went through 4 years of college in video game design, and I still didn't know what I was doing. And I don't think I actually got a class on time management, but I think it maybe was just me that I essentially really didn't grasp that if I just stood back or stepped back and just realized the scope of everything I was doing, I wouldn't just go right into it and be so stressed out that by the time the project was done, I was exhausted and just completely spent. So what you can do to avoid that is create a list. At the top of your list, start with the most time-consuming tasks. And this goes not just for people who are working at home and starting their own career as artists or their own business. This goes in terms of developing a game also. You want to kind of have a list of the things that will take the most time and that are the most grueling. So at the bottom of that list, you want the quickest and easiest tasks. So what I would normally do, for example, in terms of my business, after breakfast, I do what takes the most time out of my day, which is sitting and packaging up all my online Etsy orders. Because that just requires lots and lots of tedious putting invoices in packages, making sure everyone gets thank you notes and whatever, and extra goodies that I say that I would get them. And I just want to make sure that everything is a personal experience to every buyer from my online store. So that takes the most time out of my day, but I want to be able to make sure it's done correctly. So I do that first. Next, you're going to want to keep track of the time it takes to do certain tasks. By doing this, you'll notice if you're taking too much time working on certain things and need to speed up the process. For example, my biggest issue for the past few years has been when I draw, I take forever doing the sketch. I could take about 5-6 hours doing the sketch, but then inking and coloring or editing in Photoshop goes by like nothing. So what I've had to realize is that I need to find new ways to help speed up my process. What I do now is I create super rough thumbnails. So this month I was determined to do Inktober, and I was like, I can do this. I have so many ideas, but I draw crazy slow. So a month ago, and this might be cheating, a month ago I did all thumbnails. So for all different prompts, because for every day in Inktober you have a different prompt to draw a certain thing, and then you post it online and people see your stuff. And the visibility is what really gets your page views, which is super cool. Because, I really like Inktober. I don't know if you guys do that, but it's cool because you can just scroll through the feeds on the hashtag on Instagram and on Twitter, and it'll just you just see continuous art, and that's constant inspiration. Okay. And speaking of inspiration, stay motivated. You ask yourself, how do I keep working and not falling into a slump? Don't let things like artist block bring you down. Overcome it. I can speak from experience that working from home as an artist has its advantages and disadvantages. The biggest disadvantage being artist. My fingers just don't work anymore. Can be artist block. You don't ever want to see yourself as a professional artist saying, I'm sorry, I can't pay rent this month. I have that case of artist block. You want to be someone who can find inspiration in all things so that you can continue being a professional artist and not become a stereotype starving artist. Here are some things that help you stay motivated. You want to surround your workspace with things that inspire you. So just, little things like I go to conventions and I find my favorite artists and I get their prints, or I'm online and I find whatever tchotchkes or trinkets or little figurines from anime and video games, and I just keep them around my workspace because I want to see the things that I want to be able to make someday. So I just, put those things around. My boyfriend has a big dry erase board in his office with like this really nice quote from Monty Young from Rooster Teeth, and he had it written down on the dry erase board way before he passed, and it was, I don't know, like, I feel like every time I read it, I forget that I don't tell myself that, and I should have wrote it on paper. But it's, I don't know, it's even just something like that, like an inspirational quote by your workspace really helps. Also, listen to music or audiobooks or podcasts while you work. Working at home can get really, it's hard sometimes because you'll get into that, not necessarily a slump, but you'll be in that mindset that I'm home, I'm not at work. So sometimes I will have a specific podcast that I listen to while I'm working to get me into work mode. For now, it's Critical Role. And I'm not advertising Critical Role, but if they wanted me to advertise it, I would. But yeah, no, it's a really good podcast, and it gets me in the mindset that I am at work and I'm here to create specifically. I'm not here to be home and be lazy or whatever. So yeah, there's some extra notes. Netflix and Hulu, not good. They're too visual, so they're too distracting. Or just utilize Street Quiet if that helps you. Another way to stay motivated is following your favorite artists online. Some online communities I really like. I've been a part of DeviantArt since I was 13, 14 years old. That's scary. That's old. I'm old. But yeah, another really good one is Polycount and ArtStation. I just got an ArtStation page and it is barren, but I get notifications from ArtStation whenever my favorite artists post up. So that's number 2, follow your favorite artists and creators and set up app notifications so you can be updated. The only thing is, if you have it set for everybody, then you will go crazy because your phone will just blow up. So what you want to do is just, follow specific artists, because I'll get something from like Loish, or I'll get something from Art Journal, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, no, I totally want to draw now. So it'll help. It'll really, really help to be able to, once in a while throughout the day, you'll get a notification when somebody posted something, and it'll just give you that boost of motivation. And it's really awesome. Also, another cool thing is when you see these posts, comment them. Like, yeah, they're intimidating, yeah, they're artists, or yeah, they're developers, or 3D modelers, or texture artists that like are, I don't know, have more experience or just beyond. You can't think that way. You have to think, okay, I want to be on that level, so I'm gonna talk to them. So even though you're on the other side of the keyboard, comment their posts, engage with them, say something like, oh, this is really sweet, or I really like how you did this thing, and been following your work for years, because you never know if they're going to comment you back or if they're going to add you or follow your stuff. You don't know if you're going to be a GDC and see them. Make these connections while you can, as silly as it might sound. So I was mentioning earlier the thing about Inktober. Another thing to stay motivated is daily artist prompts. So what was it, last week? Was it last week or the week before they had the Bowsat one? So everyone was drawing Bowser. Yeah. So when you do this, it gives you visibility. So even though it's something as silly as that, or mermaid, or the draw this in your style, like I said, and even Polycat always has the art war every once in a while, doing these things makes you visible. So when you draw them, you then will get more visibility, page views, clicks to your shops, or even better yet, new followers and new customers. And that's what we all want in the long run if we're making a career as an artist. So some helpful tips on this. It's not necessarily staying motivated, but it will help your workflow and your process in the long run. So if you're working from home, if you're working in a studio, you're gonna always wanna take a break. Working straight into your work for like 12 plus hours is not healthy, and it's not good for your work, especially if you want your work to be the best possible thing. So, you know, after an hour or two, after 2 hours, 3 hours, you're gonna definitely want to walk away from the actual computer, the actual sketchbook. Walk away for about a half hour to an hour, and then come back. And when you do that, I promise you, you will have seen errors that you wouldn't have seen if you just kept working like continuously into that work. So also, remember to eat. I don't know, I forget to eat when I work. So, but then again, yeah, if you're not eating healthy, you're not making awesome work. And also, last but not least, if you are working professional, if you're calling yourself a professional artist, if you're calling yourself a professional game developer, you want to set a clock out time. Everyone leaves work at the end of the day, and you need to also. So at a certain point in time, whether it be 7 or 8 or earlier than that, you have to say, now is the time that I stop working on my computer. Now is the time where I turn off Blender. Now is the time where I turn off 3ds Max, Maya. You turn it off, and you go chill. My idea of chilling is free draw. So I will stop posting anything related to my online store. I will stop doing big social media posts, and I will draw whatever weird fan art, unfinished looking face gestures, anything that makes me happy, that isn't necessarily work related or doesn't stress me out to finish on a deadline. So in conclusion, it took me a long time to get where I am today with very little guidance and using what industry experience I did gain from my time in school, but the help in constructive criticism I did receive from others, I took it and I worked it into making a better business model for myself. I'm still unsure and uncertain of things that I do, and I still ask for help and advice when I need it the most from other artists and business owners that I know. But in doing that, I think it gives you the best possible outcome for whatever media or project you're working on and trying to put out there, making it better received by the public. So it's as intimidating as social media can be, with all the hashtags you need to know or scheduling posts a week in advance, the benefits you gain from taking advantage of these tools are huge. I sometimes, if not all the time, get overwhelmed by how much you need to make yourself visible online in this absolute sea of randomness that is these websites. But the first step to getting past that is to just put yourself out there. You won't know till you try. Any questions?
Yes, question.
Yes.
You listed a couple of sites earlier about like DeviantArt, Polycat, and so forth.
Yes.
Do you post games on those sites?
I think I have a feeling with DeviantArt you can post like Flash-based games.
I'm not sure actually. You might be able to, but you could. Like, I know people post like art for games in there, but I don't know if you could actually like, post the whole game there.
Okay.
There's so much interactive stuff, like people used to make your own character, like mini games.
Yeah. No, there's a girl I follow on Instagram.
If that's what it is, then it's probably good to read it.
Yeah. No, there's I mean, in terms of like if you're before you put something out on the App Store, you mean?
Just any game to game.
Oh.
Seeing that I have like 40 plus.
I don't know. I haven't
They might have recently updated it to include HTML5 tags, or if they
Yeah.
haven't yet, in the future.
That would be cool.
stuff, but I don't like fully reading code.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Right.
So you're saying you looked at Buffer and Hootsuite, and you prefer Hootsuite.
I prefer
Why
Hootsuite.
do you prefer Hootsuite? And no, you have to pay to use Hootsuite, right?
No, there is a free, it's limited with Hootsuite. You have only, you can only use like link 3 or 4 different accounts.
Okay. And
If you
so
want to
what do
link
you
more
find-
accounts.
What do you find that Hootsuite does better than Buffer?
I haven't used Buffer yet, so I can't say. So that I will be attempting to check out Buffer tonight actually. So I didn't know about Buffer until today, so. Yeah, no, I'll be looking into that. I'm just comfortable with Hootsuite because I've used it for a while.
And the other question I have is sillier is, so Tumblr is really an artist's thing.
Yeah.
And it is way more challenging. I don't understand,
Yeah.
like, I can understand Instagram, I can understand, I don't like Snapchat, but I understand
Yeah.
Snapchat. I
Oh, I
have no
don't
idea how Tumblr,
It's just one more thing to have stuff posted on.
so
Like,
you just post your art on there and then.
yeah, like if you were working on a project and you took a screenshot of it, or you wanted to show like some character designs or
So you
environment
just post
designs.
your own work on, like, that's what I don't understand is how you get user engagement on Tumblr versus like Twitter, right? You're like,
Well, people, they look up hashtags and they see like, depending upon whatever hashtags they're looking up or people that they follow. The biggest part of Tumblr is the reblogs,
right.
that you can reblog people's work. And when you reblog them, it shows up on their feed. Yeah, but yeah, no, that's normally how I find new artists is like artists I follow reblog and support other artists, whatever. So, yeah. Yes.
Do you have a set amount of time that you allocate to using the social media to find new artists or to reblog things or to, like, if you have a set period of time when you post your posts,
Yeah.
do you like add on 15 minutes to like look around at other stuff?
The
Each time
looking
you post?
around at other stuff actually is whenever I take a break from working on my art projects or my online store, or at night when I'm doing my free draw, because I get stuck in the internet hole of just swiping and looking at cool art. So I don't know if that really answers the question. Sorry.
I just wondered if, how regimented you were with that time, or if you
I'm-
had allocated certain parts of the day. It sounds like you
I
did.
probably should allocate an individual part of my day to doing that. It's just, I like it so much that I do it when I have my free moment of whatever, because that's the thing I want to do, is just look at art and be inspired. So, yeah. Yes.
For a budding artist starting off who has very little money, what equipment and what digital software do you recommend to get started?
I would say, in terms of where I started, I had just this cheapo the LED 600 scanner from Staples, and it was like flat and small, and it was only like $60, but I'm almost sure since that was 10 years ago, they don't have it anymore. But just a scanner, access to a PC, or access to a PC and scanner, like if you have a friend who has one, or even like, everybody's got a cell phone. The best thing you can do is just take a picture and post it online. Like, I was so skeptical about even just opening a Twitter. Because I was like, what am I going to do on Twitter? But just having one has made it a lot easier for my stuff to be seen, just from posting that one single picture. But as a budding artist, I would say just being able to, even if you're a traditional artist, to scan your stuff, have access to a scanner, and scan your stuff and put it online.
I was wondering, like, if you can give any advice, what's a good way to come up with prices for your artwork? Like, I know you mentioned looking at, like, what other people do. And like it's something that I've been struggling with a lot lately because like I've been on DeviantArt for 12 years.
Yeah.
So I'm still on there, so I was dealing with people kind of undervaluing themselves with the point system and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I've like this past year or so, I've been branching out to these other websites, and it's kind of tricky deciding like what kind of prices are reasonable and what is, especially after coming out of that kind of environment.
I am right there with you. It actually took me up until like a month or two ago to finally like, I think I finally just started charging the rate I should have been charging all along. Because there was a point, you had mentioned Genericon earlier. I've been doing Genericon Artist Alley since 2010, 2011. And since, I remember there was a point where I would do a full bust character portrait for $5. Never again. Nope. Like if you have the skill set to really be able to do that, to make that sort of thing that these people are coming to you specifically for, you need to charge what you would want on an hourly rate. Like if you were working at a studio, if you were working at, if you were doing stuff like at a convention table at New York Comic Con, between $30 $50, I would say, for just a simple black and white sketch.
Okay, yeah, so I was gonna say like you go by minimum wage per hour.
Yes,
you know, and then you have
15
to supplies.
I would say the cheapest I would say is 15 or maybe 10.
Another way you could look at it is figure out exactly what it costs you, like figure out how long you typically take to make something and how much time that costs you and how much like that part of time factors into your overall cost of living. So like it may not be good to do minimum wage for you if your housing is more expensive or something like that.
Exactly.
Basically,
Like your art
just
supplies.
try to do the math and figure out how much does it really cost me to do this art and then know you can make profit.
Yeah. Yep. Just like you said, the supplies, how much they cost you. You are the one they are going to, not another artist, not some person on DeviantArt. Not that that's bad, but they're going to you specifically. So you got to value yourself. You got to value your time, definitely.
Yeah.
And some of them are going to try to ask you to decrease it, or to do it for free, or to do it for exposure, or something like that. You've got to stand your ground
You've got
and make
to.
sure if they don't like your terms, they can go somewhere else.
Yes, exactly. And you will always have other people who want art. So someone haggling for art is insane. It is, and they won't know that because it's just not a good way to think.
Especially in New York, because most of the people on there I feel like are kids or like young teens, so they don't really understand.
Exactly.
It's like I want to pay 20 points, like just 20 cents for your like 10
I
hour
have
drawing,
I have no idea that's how they do things now. Because I remember when I used to have a Gaia online account, and I would do the little portraits for gold to dress up my avatar, and then I was like, no. But I'm like, no. So yeah, I don't know. What's gonna do?
Oh, me?
Yes.
I'm assuming you're not a lawyer, but any legal advice on getting started with drafting contracts and similar agreements to make sure that an artist is not screwed over by
Oh yes. Yeah, that definitely. That I feel like that would be a whole evening's talk. But I would say definitely when it comes to someone else paying specifically for your work, and it's over a long stretch of time, if they can, if it's, I don't know, I don't want to give a number out there, but normally they pay up front for your work. And then you regularly show them over time progress of the work that you're making for them. If they need to pay in installments, then you help write up the contract as far as how many installments, when and what time they're going to be paying those installments to you, and then being guaranteed progress on the work. If it's in terms of like a logo, or if it's you're making a game specifically for somebody and they want to see something over a certain course of time, I'd say you gotta take it up front, because not taking the money up front they are devaluing your time completely. And just thinking that they work for you for whatever. So, yeah, I've been screwed over plenty of times like that. Because I thought like, oh, I really like this person. I'm gonna just let them pay whatever they want, and it would be years. So.
Yeah, for things like legal stuff with art, I would say check out the art center because they do, and they have the business of art programs and classes. And this year I went to a couple where you got to hear a talk from a lawyer, and I forget what the other person did. They did network with them. They did your business cards, and they might still have those people written down.
Yeah.
You know, if you're looking for that person. Yeah.
And that would be definitely a good way. I if anything could freshen up on that because it's just my biggest issue when it comes in terms of legalities is drawing something or making something that is similar to something else and saying, okay, I made this, but yes, it's your characters or it's your fan base, but I still want to sell t-shirts with it on it, but it looks absolutely nothing like your work. So in that instance, it's tricky to get around that type of legality.
Do you have a Kickstarter?
Do I what?
Do you have a Kickstarter?
I do have a Kickstarter.
Well, there you go.
Alrighty. I have a Kickstarter. I forgot. I shouldn't forget because it's very close to the end date. I have a Kickstarter. It's called Steam Powered Style. There's no pictures of it on here. Oh wait, yes there is. I really like this. There we go. Okay. So my Kickstarter is for comfy cosplay and yoga wear that is based on paintings that I did to make it look like cybernetic enhancements from the steampunk era. So what I have is the actual steampunk clothing that comes in leggings, tops, shirts, and the stretch goals go as far as having all the print buddies. And the early goals are these little keychains of a rib cage with a steam powered mechanism inside, just bursting out with steam that says I am steam powered. And those will be as vinyl, stickers, and gold plated enamel pins. So I would say if you want, check that out. Look up Steam Powered Style on Kickstarter, and we have 9 days left of funding. And yeah, we're nowhere near half done, but it's been quite the experience trying to figure out how to market yourself to a giant mass of people through a website such as Kickstarter. I had my page viewed by another artist who she proofreaded for me and everything, and told me everything I needed to do, and it did help. I just feel like maybe there was more that I could have done. I put about a year and a half of work into it, into building a Kickstarter around my designs and being able to promote this thing and make the merchandise and get the merchandise out to people. But I feel like maybe I should have started small. But hey, 9 more days. Maybe maybe a miracle will happen.
You can always pull out another one too.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Do you have a Patreon or anything like that?
Yes, I do. I have a Patreon. If you just search the name P-B-A-R-B-A-R-T, Art, my Patreon is on there. I update regularly with stuff from my sketchbook, stuff that I've just done as commission work or commercial work, and the rewards are as small as $1 to $5. So for $1, you get to see everything. $5, I give you a free print every month of whatever I'm working on. So whatever updates I made that month, if I did, let's say I did Bowsette this month, so For October, you probably get a pretty fast set.
How do you spell that?
Peep Art Art, it's PBARVART.
Okay.
Probably should have put myself in, I didn't think of it.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, I found it.
Yeah, lots of sketchbook stuff, lots of random stuff.
On that last slide, we had the Twitter and the other social media. And you can see how many people you follow, how many people are following you. And I wondered if you saw a correlation in number of followers, like a catalyst point where you started getting enough commissions to feel like you were doing it well.
It really shows on my Twitter because I didn't actually I didn't know about the problem with my Twitter and how, like, because I was just having my post from Instagram bounce straight to Twitter, that it wasn't uploading images, so no one was seeing art. Like, it was an art Twitter page with no art on it. So that's why the numbers are so huge. So I'm trying to change that now. But my Facebook should be it's 1,144, which is I'm happy with that. And my Instagram is over that, but that's because I make more of an effort on Instagram. So what I would suggest doing, what I definitely need to do to take my own advice, is to really, like, you can do the posting from Instagram and have it bounce off to all the others, but do take note of all these other social media pages, because there are people that will look at one and not the other, and having the followers for one could then potentially gain more followers in the long run, because they're reblogging your stuff or telling a friend or whatever. So yeah, it definitely, the numbers speak for themselves. Did that answer your question?
I was wondering if, I don't know how you make your, like, how much of drawing is your living? Is it all of your living?
Yes.
Did you get to a point where you're like, oh, okay, I don't have to work for somebody else, I can just do this? Was there a correlation with having X number of followers, or like, so, you know,
it was
like,
I was kind of forced out of work. I was diagnosed with lupus in 2010 and was working for a video game company in Pittsburgh, and had to move back home, back in with my family, and pretty much made the decision from then on, like, I have a lot of issues that I don't think that a full-time job would ever accommodate again. So I have put my heart and soul into doing this, and so I do like the conventions. I like going around to different festivals and showcasing my work and everything. And the biggest chunk that you left out on here was the fact that I have an Etsy page where I design my own clothing. So I take my art and I do all over print t-shirts and leggings and stuff for tote bags and whatever, with my artwork fully printed on it with sublimation printing, which is what my Kickstarter is. But with that stuff, I do make money with it, but it's hard because there is money that needs to be made, or money that needs to be behind it to invest in those sort of things. So it will take a long time to be able to establish a following, to be able to be an artist from home. It's just, with me, I jumped into it because I felt like I had no choice.
It's just good to know you can get to that point, though, that you can do it full time.
Yeah. No, I really want it to be, and it's been 8 years since I made that decision to do that. So it's really, like, it's been a learning process the entire way. Like, I'm up here telling you guys how I did it, but I still feel like there's so much more I can learn to be able do it right and to be able to benefit from it fully. Because, like I said, when you're putting yourself out there and people are giving you money for your work, you want to be able to get something out of it. You want to be able to say, yes, I am making a living off of doing this. Not, I did this and it was $10. That's terrible. Don't do that. So, yeah.
Cool. Alright, can everybody come down? Do you want to say something, Brian?
No. Oh, I mean, the thing was about to go.
Yeah.
Oh, so mostly just pointing out that for all you were talking about, sometimes you get into the mode where you're at like working from home and you're just being like, I have to turn off my, like a hand home or whatever.
Yeah.
Check out H-Space, which we're using their space right now. I guess kind of this room is point, but yeah. That was initially started because a few independent people in the area were just like having a problem and wanted a space to work from. So,
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
do you still offer co-working?
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, you can pay for co-working space here.
Oh, that's so cool. No, that's really awesome.
So there you go, I'm plugging your stuff for you. I was trying to get that to do it, so.
That's available for everyone in the room, not just her.
We also have a Patreon.
Yes.
Yay, I'm gonna add you guys.
At patreon.com/techvalidays.
It's like you listen to the Let's